And I'm live. Welcome to the United Lens preview of the Burnley game, kicking off in about just under 2 hours. We're going to have a quick look at the suspected Burnley starting lineup, and of course, we're going to try and take our stab in the dark at our interim manager. As from the thumbnail you can see, Mr. Darren Fletcher. And first off, I wish him all the best. The guy says the right things. Now it's about us seeing them on the pitch. So can't wait. Let's get into this and let's see what we can shine a light on today. So straight off, welcome. Give me your takes on what I say. I'm only going to run for about 15 minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Depends how many people come in. Last one ran for an hour. And it was not to. So straight in with the Burnley starting 11. I think it's like we said before, the best way to start is with their starting lineup because we've got a new manager and we don't know what's going to happen. So I am thinking it's going to be something along these lines. Put it up on the screen. Let's have a look. Let's enlarge that. The Bracker in goal, you know, he seems to have got better. Like a lot of players, came to Man United, was absolutely rubbish. Went back to Newcastle, they sold him, and he seems to have definitely got better. He's actually my backup keeper in FPL, so I can't say too much. Back five, 5-4-1 is the expected lineup. Obviously, I'm upset we don't get to see more of Hannibal, but I'd rather see Hannibal less of Carl Walker. But hopefully we can put a good solid tackle in on the ex-City. So that's how they expect to line up. Burnley, they're not all that, but let's be honest, we really struggled back in August when we scraped that 3-2 result against them. So yeah, what was it? Late, if I remember right, late penalty from Bruno, 93rd, 94th minute, maybe even later. And some say even a penalty. So let's swap that back over. I don't like that. Let's have it. There we go. Hey, clicking around on all this stuff on your own is an absolute nightmare. I do apologise. So let's zoom in a little on here. The backer in goal. It's this midfield, isn't it? It's all about the midfield today. We say it does feel like we say this every week, but I'm thinking 4 at the back, 3. I'm thinking 4-3-3. So that's how I'm going to look at this. They have some strength in the centre of midfield. Not necessarily the best ball players. The wingers are runners. Carl Walker will get forward. Hopefully, we can expose him in behind. Brozier up front. Let's be honest, he was nothing special. Chelsea. Was Chelsea? I'm pretty sure it was Chelsea. And obviously, they let him go. Chat, let me know if it wasn't, please. And I don't think we should see any problems here. It's going to be more what kind of team we put out mentality-wise. Anyone who's seen my TikToks, I've done a few clip-ups of what Fletcher said about his the fact his first phone call, like all the ex-players, first phone call, Alex Ferguson, to get his blessing out of respect. And that's what we're missing from this club. I think if we bring that kind of mentality, the 4 in midfield they're going to have against us, it's not going to really cause us that much of a problem. It's more breaking down that 5 at the back. And it'll just be long balls into Brozier. And I think we can deal with that with a back 4. So I'm not going to focus too much on Burnley because let's be honest, they're nothing special. It'll be about us trying not to make them look good for once. Because I thought last time, although we controlled the ball, 62% possession, 26 shots against them, Burnley only managed 6 shots and scored 2 goals. 3 on target, 2 went in. We had 26 shots, 6 on target. So it's all about getting into that back 5 today and penetrating. So, I think that's going to be the biggest problem today. I'm expecting a 4-3-3. I've watched a lot of Fletcher and how he would set up with the under-18s. Um, I think I understand a bit of his philosophy, but he actually said something that was really important in his press conference, and that was that as a club, the club decided that, well, let's be honest, we know Lamens is going to be in goal, so we can forget he's even there. I think we're going to set up something like that today. Yeah, he said that the club decided that 4-3-3 was the best formation to learn at Manchester United in the 18s and the 21s, and that's why they've chosen it. Very weird thing to say. Definitely from as a coach, I always feel whatever the first team plays, you should emulate in your most like secondary team. So it doesn't need to be the 18s, but definitely the 21/23s should be emulating the first team because that's the only step they've got left to take. So the fact that they've been playing 4-3-3 and the way Fletcher controls it, quite weirdly, with he doesn't play his sons necessarily week in, week out. They're down to the 21s, swapping with Freights. Yeah. Well, I'll come to that in a minute. But yes, I believe we'll be back for Euro, Dalot, Martinez, and Shaw. I didn't like putting Euro in, and I'm going to explain myself. I don't believe I should be dropping Aidan Heaven. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. And I have the utmost respect for how he's played. I love it. But I can't see Martinez being dropped because, let's be fair, he's one of the real leaders we've got in the team. And he's left-footed. He could drop Shaw and play Martinez left back and bring Heaven in as left centre back. But then you've got two young centre backs. So, again, I don't think he would. Euro being right-footed is why I would pick him. If I was to pick my back four, anyone saw me on Tax Devils on Monday night, I said my two centre backs are Maguire and De Ligt in a back four. Solid, isn't it? Euro can come on if we need pace, and Heaven can come on it when Harry Maguire starts to tire. Same as Casemiro starts to tire. That's what we want to get a Gallagher in for Casemiro. That's what you want. You want names on the bench ready for when they tire. So yeah, and that leaves us like Shaw. I think picks himself. I can't really see Dorgu forcing himself in as a left back. Dalot could go left back, and we could play Euro right back and play two left-sided centre backs. So there are ways to make that work. Do I think we will? No. I really hope this is the lineup I would go because I feel it's the most balanced. But this comment right here, we all agree. We're taking Dalot out and sticking Mazraoui in within seconds of him stepping off the plane. I do think that they're likely to go all the way to the final. It's gut feeling. I do think that will happen. I believe he's up against Mbemo in the next round. So I think that was right. Again, chat, let me know if I'm wrong. I think if we bring Mazraoui in, it makes us a little bit more flexible, a little bit more of a shoestring. If Shaw goes, Mazraoui can tuck in as a right-sided centre-back free, and vice versa, because of the way they've been playing, which gives us chance to have someone go forward, but not necessarily invert. Whereas Dalot inverts all the time. It's definitely embedded into him. He even inverts when he's playing as a right wing back, and next thing you know, he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper and letting the keeper save it, like a certain match that just went, where he could have won the game for us. So yeah, I think back four is as I've put. I think Casemiro picks himself. Obviously, if you're picking Casemiro and Ugarte, that's like on a hot day choosing a spicy chili over ice cream. I don't think there's any hard choice. It's straight away. You're going Casemiro straight in, holding midfielder. Now, there are two versions of this three-man midfield. This is the one I prefer because I'm an attacking player. But you could have gone Casemiro, Ugarte, Bruno, potentially Casemiro, Mainu, Bruno as a double pivot. But I prefer the single pivot with Mason Mount if coming back in and Bruno. Now, that's me relying that they are 100% fit and okay to start. There's a good chance they could be on the bench and brought back slowly. And we'll find out tonight if that's something that Ruben Amorim would do rather than what our medical staff are, saying. Because I saw something today about Martinez almost having a punch up with the manager on the side on the training pitch. I was going to say sidelines, on the side of the training pitch, because he's saying he wouldn't start him against West Ham and Everton. And he was like, no, I'm ready to go. He wants to get on the pitch. And again, that's why he's a leader. He wants to play. And apparently he's right in the manager's face. And we all know what happened. He came on as a sub, I believe, West Ham late on, and then started the rest of the games and not even wore the armband. So it's not like it was out of respect. It's about doing what was best for the player. Mount and Bruno. I think Mount covers Bruno when Bruno goes missing. We know Bruno will go missing. And being behind Cunha as well, when Cunha doesn't come back, I just think he can work hard in that area. But again, it's down to fitness. And same with Dorgu. If Bruno Fernandes bombs forward, like making that run past the strikers, we know Dorgu can sit, and we know he can come in and play as that sort of right winger. Even if we went 4-4-2, I know I talk about it a lot. I'm starting to wonder if it's my age or just I generally think it's the best formation for us and what we have available. So, yeah, I hope Sesko scores. He needs the confidence boost. Well, we'll move on to the front line. And Sesko, well, I'm not his biggest fan. And it's got nothing to do with his ability. I just don't think he's a 9. I believe he's a 10. And I have to clarify, I'm not talking a 10. I'm not talking Bruno Fernandes. I'm talking the link between midfield and a striker. The Teddy Sheringham, the York out of York and Cole, that kind of player we've always had. The Rooney. Even Rooney was a link-up player more than a goal scorer, but he knew how to get on the end of it because of his quality. Sesko's nowhere near that, but that's what he needs to learn. I was massively hoping that with Johnny Evans, I was hoping Wayne Rooney would appear on that bench alongside Fletcher. And there's still a chance that could happen. But I didn't think it would. I just hoped it would. Yeah, and that's it. And I'm guessing, we're talking about Sesko. But one of my biggest problems has been the last few games is Cunha. It's been his style. And what I mean by that is we all love a Brazilian. We all love someone who picks the ball up, shows that flair, and by God, he knows how to beat a player. Some of his touches have been great. But he just needs to beat that player and give it to someone and get in the box. And generally, that's been a bit of a problem for us. I think under Fletcher, my understanding from what he said, I will have to paraphrase. I can't remember word for word for the interview. So to see it from the original pressure, he was saying about his style of play is the Manchester United way. So he's talking about attack. He's talking about get forward, everything we want to see. But that doesn't mean you run onto the last line of defence and just stand there. So Cunha is basically the kind of player we want to see. In his eyes, he's going to see him as a Ryan Giggs. He's going to see him as Cristiano Ronaldo. He's going to see him as someone. Beat him and do something with it. Just beat one player. So all you need to beat in football is one player. And then put the ball in the box. And if it goes in early, this is what we're talking about. Sesko needs a goal. He just needs to get in there. Get that ball behind the back line, across, hard and fast. And if you're on the left, the right forward, the centre forward need to get in the box, follow it up, and do something with it. Get the corner, force the defender to clear it, whatever it needs to be. We've got Bruno and Mount behind them in my formation to worry about second balls. You know, Casemiro to pop it off. We can put pressure on from the wing backs. But what we're not pressuring in is the space behind. If they're going to play 5 at the back, that means low block. 5-4, low block, edge of the box. So we need to get the ball behind them fast, but we also need to make penetrating runs, which means going early. And I think that's what Fletcher would have been working on, because that's what the 18s do. They play a lot of diagonal penetrating passes. So if it's on the right, it will be it's played not for the centre forward, it's played for the left forward to get. You know, and if he gets it, he's got a chance to drop it back off to the centre forward. So they know to make their runs early. But we've been here before in a 4-3-3 with our midfield, and they haven't been great. Mount hasn't really played, but Casemiro and Bruno go a little bit too early. They need to link the play up somehow and disguise those passes in behind to allow the player who might be a bit rusty on those runs to get up to pace, to run across the line and then cut in through a gap and pick the ball up, which is exactly how we scored from the Xerxes pass for Cunha. And that's what I'm talking about. If you know how that goal was scored, if you still picture it, it's a diagonal, you know, we popped the ball off, and that little delay in just a little give and go enabled him to get on to the end. And that's what we're going to need tonight. We're going to need plenty of it. And it's not necessarily going to work, but Dubravka won't be fast off his line. I can tell you that now. So if we get in there, and then it's just touch and shoot. Don't try it one touch and miss. Touch, hit the target, and hope the other player can get it. Or even better, if we get the opportunity for a sweaty pass across the box, do it. Get the tap in. So there's nothing worse than what I still call the FIFA goal, where you get 2-on-1 with the goalkeeper and tap it square. If you get the timing right, cannot be defended against. So yeah, that's what I think of the formation. I am just gonna do that for now. So in case anyone comes back and asks any questions about the formation, it's down there. Let's talk about what tonight means. There's been so much 48 hours of media coverage where, let's be fair, when Amorim went, I didn't even know that Celtic had appointed Martin O'Neill. That I didn't know about the West Ham signings. We take over the news. We are the biggest thing in the world when it comes to these kind of stories. You know, if you've got a question and you put Man United at the front of it, bang, top of the list. That's all anyone wants to focus on. So I've been listening to a lot of the media stuff. And then obviously I've been listening a lot to social media, and it's quite divided, isn't it? It's very much Amorim in, Amorim out, and before, but now it feels like we're picking a side for it's either Glinios, I've actually pronounced it right, I've been practicing, Glinios, who we all hate, and although we might have wanted the manager sacked, we know that this is now on the board, and towards Jason Wilcox. So I want to go through a bit of that just quickly. Anyone who's in the chat, I know there's only 2 of you in there, but if you just let me know your thoughts on this, because it's going to be important to get this bounce back. Because you might, out of the 2 of you, one might sit on one side of the fence, one might be on the other. I will never take my side. I will just be honest. I think that tonight's game is pinnacle for the club, and I don't hear enough people talking about why. I'm a Man United fan. I always want Manchester United to win. Yeah, we all do. But I think a win tonight is the worst thing for Manchester United fans. For Manchester United as a football club and us as fans, if we win tonight under Fletcher, oh my God, the media storm. It'll be back to Ollie at the wheel. We all know that Ollie's being massively linked to coming in talks, blah, blah, blah. If someone wants the job, of course he's going to be quite high up on the list. But if Fletcher wins tonight, should he not just keep going? He might say he doesn't want to because he's obviously coaching the 21s. He might feel, sorry, not 21s, the 18s. He might feel he's letting them down because he's using the 18s coaching squad to help him, plus Johnny Evans. But I need to explain, I need to get this off my chest, why I feel that if we win tonight, the board are going to think we don't have to sign. Hey, we got the win. We're going forward. We know it's against Burnley. I generally think most of our board don't give credit to any teams. They still think we are the, all-time reigning Premier League champions and we've never lost a title. But I think if we win, they don't need to go spend any money. And they put the blame back on, look, this is why we got rid of the manager. He's faulted against Leeds. He's faulted against these other teams. We've gone and got the win. But as fans, I'm not going to say as fans. In my opinion, we potentially get a player bounce tonight. And players are like, and it's not necessarily a bounce as in, new manager, yeah, let's go play for him. I hated Ruben Amorim because what I'm hearing, the players weren't happy that he's gone. No, not necessarily weren't happy because they all love him, but they understood where the club was and where it was going. And this kind of change, they know back to square one. And that screws all them over. Screws the people who want contracts over. It screws the ones who want transfers out of the club over. The ones who loved him are now like, I gave everything for this guy. Look at the way he spoke about Mount, Bruno, his cousin Dallo. They're not going to... It's going to test their professionalism. I'm going to change my words there. It's going to test how professional they are as players to how they step on the pitch tonight, right? So that game, Burnley, and it didn't matter if Ruben Amorim was in tonight or Fletcher, Ollie, Sir Alex Ferguson. We are expecting to beat Burnley. Yeah, we were expecting to beat them when we were playing even worse than what we are now. So we're expecting a win. So nothing changes from us as fans. We expect 3 points. But the board will see it so different. And I don't want the next bloody key put in the engine of that party bus. Get the old hands up. Fletcher's at the wheel. Fletcher's at the wheel. At the wheel. At the wheel. Sorry. I did like the song, I've got to be honest. It's just ridiculous. We are sixth in the league. We're doing well. We know why the manager's gone. One reason only. He criticised the board. Everyone who's done that, bang, out the door. Ragnick, you name it. Okay, and that probably just came straight from the Glazers. This was huge news. It was worldwide. It didn't even get weighted in America and places like that because of obviously other people I know were straight on it, reporting it. So huge news because of the time that it happened. Next 2 to 3 games, huge for where we want to compete in Europe next season. They are huge, and it's not. So the next 2 to 3 league games he's talking about. So we play Burnley tonight. We play Brighton, and then I believe it's City Arsenal or Arsenal City. I'm not coming which way around it is. So on paper, FA Cup for me was really important. I wanted to go deep in that, and I'm going to be honest. I wanted it as a backup in case we dropped in the league. And this was before the sacking. I need FA Cup as a backup, but playing Brighton, I was like, Brighton might rotate players because they're not doing as good as they would hope. But at the same time, playing Manchester United and it's a Premier League, we certainly can't rotate players. We don't have any. So that's that. And we all know we can't give up on anything now. If after the Grimsby cock up and putting us out the Carabao Cup, we have to go for all trophies that are available, and there's one. It's the FA Cup. We're not going to win the league, so no matter what the board would like. So then I flip it and I go, well, what does the win mean to us as players? Nothing, because we are expected to beat Burnley. We play Brighton, then we come up against City and Arsenal. We're not expected to win. Sacking the manager would be no different. Like I say, the FA Cup is just the FA Cup, luck of the draw. Burnley was an expected win under whoever's manager. And whoever's manager would not be expected to beat City currently. Maybe we've got a good chance. Haaland stopped firing again, but he'll be up to play against us. And then Arsenal, top of the league, you know. And by that point, Arsenal could be even more points clear. So depending on our results versus City, we got the draw, Arsenal more points clear, even more dangerous to us. So as fans, I think a loss tonight would be more beneficial than a win. I know, crazy, right? What the hell is the guy saying? But if we lost, we'd have a stronger say on that we do need transfers to come in. We would say, hang on, that's a different manager, same outcome. We still didn't win. There was no bounce. So we can put a bit of the, I don't want to say blame. I can't think of a better word. A bit more responsibility onto the players for the result. You know, the ones who back Amorim didn't go out and win it for him. The ones who maybe don't want him there didn't go out and win the game, you know, to get a different manager in or play a different formation. Evening, Sean. Thank you for joining. Well, I will say joining me and Danny, but, you know, there was others, I swear. So, yeah, I was... hey, it's not that he's not a fan. Maybe he just sees the flaws for what they are. Yeah, no, Sean, I was just saying about where we are for tonight's game, about the difference between if we win and if we lose and what that actually means for the club and the team, because it's an expected win. And just to run it back, I don't know how long you were in for, but where I'm just saying that if we win, that's expected and the board don't need to go sign players. But if we lost, it backs more what the manager's saying and that we need players in because we still got the 8 player. Well, it would have come down by 2, apparently, maybe 3. So we would still have potentially 5 players out. So even though as United fans, we always want the win, I think for the club, a loss is better for the fan base tonight to say, no, look, still need players. You're going to have to go out and push for that backing in January. So I don't know what you think about that. Here we go. I feel like if we win, it really just means 3 points. It shouldn't impact our transfer plans. But I don't know if we had anything planned this month anyway. And that's sort of my point. None of us know. The way Amorim acted and what he said before he went, not literally before he went, but the press conferences, 1 or 2 before, about implying we weren't going to go get any transfer, nothing was going to change, no outgoings, no incomings. And obviously as fans, we weren't happy about that. We know that we need at least 2 low knees minimum, 2 low knees. We're not even asking for much. We're asking to go spend 2 million for him for the end of the season, maybe 4 or 5 million on an even better player, maybe a striker till the end of the season. You know, we know we've got the money. We couldn't have bid for Semenyo otherwise. So that's just sort of how I feel. So yeah, we need to put pressure back on them. I've obviously seen a lot of talk about protests. I've seen some lyrics for a song that might be sung at the game tonight. I'll be interested to see if that actually goes ahead about putting all the blame on Ineos and the Glazers. Although the end of the song did not look great. It sort of flow, and then they couldn't rhyme the last word. So, but we'll see. We'll see. This, for me, is... I don't think this is a big game. It's a big 3 points because we need the 3 points to keep the pressure on. But if all the talk about Ollie coming in or someone coming in and Fletcher just staying for like the one game going back to the 18s, I keep saying 21s. If he's going back to the 18s and someone's coming in, whoever it may be, I still feel Fletcher might be in charge for Saturday. Unless Ollie's already, you know, back in Manchester house and got his tracksuit ready for the next day. So, well, Burnley are shit. I couldn't agree more. And yet we beat them 3-2 with a injury time penalty. You know, we had. I said this right at the very start. 26 shots, and we only beat them 3-2 with 6 shots on target because of how we shoot. Now, in the last few games, we've had less shots because we weren't just smacking it from outside the box with Bruno shooting from any angle. That's one of the main ones. And we haven't had Ahmad doing it either. So we've come down in the amount of shots we had and kept our shot accuracy single digit. And for me, that's appalling. You should, as a professional footballer, no matter what, be hitting the target 1 in 3 at best. 6 out of 26 is nowhere near good enough. So yeah, I agree. 3 points, no matter what, 100%. And Burnley are rubbish. But with this game's got too much more to influence it than normal. You know, there's a lot of the main thing I'm focusing on. I think this is an emotional game tonight. I think this is a very emotional game for the players, the fans, even the board. Even that board, they know all eyes are going to be on them. You know, they're not going to be able to have an argument or even lean over and have a conversation without the camera panning to them. You know, it's live. It's live on Sky Sports tonight, so it's going out to everyone. But yeah, it is, and you're right. Start strong, Bruno for sure to get a goal or two. Then we manage his minutes. Well, I said this in the last game. I said we needed to be 2-0 up by half time because we don't have the players on the bench, and if we're not winning by half time by a couple of goals, we wouldn't be able to make changes. And we didn't, did we? We made one change. Bruno and Mount are suspected to be back. Do we rotate the 2 minutes wise? Is the squad out, or is that just what's travel? So Bruno, Maguire, Mount, and Kobe are with the squad. The Kobe one I wasn't going to bring up, but as you've put it there, I don't have a problem with what Kobe's done because he kept his mouth shut on social media to a degree. He doesn't run his social media account. I believe he's, surprise, his brother runs his social media account. You know, I'm surprised there wasn't a free Kobe T-shirt, you know, going around for sale on it. So the liked posts and things like that didn't really bother me in this day and age. And he turned up to training. He trained, and that's fine. Maguire, that make a massive change at the back because, you know, I can pop it back up now. If in this starting lineup, which I have, you're out, Maguire in with Martinez, buzzing. That makes us even more solid, even if it's only for a half. Even if it's only for a half from Maguire, he should have been back. So, still waiting for that starting lineup to come out. It must be anytime soon. If I get it, I will chuck it up on the screen. But yes, it's for me. It's got every chance of being a 3-0 win, and us playing well, or bloody losing 1-0 to a dodgy VAR decision because our hearts aren't in it tonight. So it is an absolutely massive game. I expect our fans to be more than on it. I'm expecting it to be a bit of a cauldron. Call it whatever you want. You know, I love the Fenner battery. Welcome to hell. That kind of environment I want at every football match I ever play. For me, it's just superb. And we're capable of doing it. I think we're just too, I don't want to say prawn sandwich brigade, but too family orientated. And we've got such a big fan base that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, so let me know. There's 4 of you in the chat. So let me know what you think score-wise. I think 3-0 win United. Because, yeah, I believe Burnley is shit, don't have a lot to offer us. I feel they should be playing Hannibal. He's a live wire and unpredictable, but, you know, he's also a red card waiting to happen. So Sean's gone 3-1. So, yeah, you're similar to me. But yeah, I would just like Lamens to get the clean sheets he deserves. Because let's be fair, it hasn't been fair. Danny's 3-1 as well. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. We're not a lot far away from starting now. What we an hour till kickoff? Is it 7:45 tonight? Well, or for you, Sean. Oh, of course he is. Of course he is. Totally forgot. He's with Mazraoui, isn't he? They're both Moroccan. Yeah, there you go. That's what happens when you come out of United. I don't really follow their nationalities and everything. I just totally forgot about that. Yeah, 8:15. So we've got another half an hour till our team lineup comes out. You can normally get it about 7 o'clock on the United app. Obviously, it will go up there first. But yeah, is there anything out? Is it Tunisia? Is it Tunisia? I could have sworn it's Moroccan. Sean, thanks for showing me up. My world ball knowledge is not as good as it used to be. You know, I have a lot more on from just watching every football match constantly, like I used to. So maybe I've got to do a bit more brushing up and learn not to put my foot in it. But you know, I've seen worse. I had someone commenting on a TikTok today telling me Ferguson had an English bias, yeah, I was like, I've never heard of a Scotsman being biased towards Englishmen in my life, but you know, I respect his opinion. So, I thought that was the best thing I ever had, and wanted to say more, but I will keep it PC. Yeah, Tunisia. So, yes, guys, you can Tunisia. I can see that. That's it. Just chuck Tunisia at me. Is it anywhere near Morocco? You know, can I at least have that? Yeah, so he might just be getting a week off because fast turnaround, constant, the weather, whatever. If you think back to we've had this before, haven't we? When the World Cup happened and things like that in AFCON, they normally try and give them a week off. It was only really United with Inanna putting the private jets on. And let's be honest, we wish we gave them the rest of the season off. So it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Anything else anyone wants to bring up or any questions? I'll give you a few minutes to ask away. Otherwise, I will go and sort out the kids and get ready. One of Mazraoui on Burma will be back soon. Yes, I said this. That they've got them in the next round. Ivory Coast are on the opposite side of the draw. Sean, which way do you think that was going? I sort of thought Morocco would go final. I generally did. But, you know, these two will be a toss of a coin. The thing with the AFCON, and let's be careful how I say this, let's just say the refereeing can be very one-sided depending on what team is playing. And that's always been the case and always will be the case. The South Africa-Egypt game was the prime example of that. What was a clear hand to ball inside the box, and they showed them the worst out angle, so the penalty wasn't given. Hopefully, Mazraoui drop kicks Dalot. Well, you know, maybe Dalot wants to follow Ruben. Now they found out they're potentially related. Or maybe that story will be swept under the carpet and disappear. Yeah, exactly. Those games are hard to predict. And that's what I love about the AFCON, actually. The teams, they all have one or two really good players as they go through. And the rest are sort of quite, I shouldn't say mediocre, but I think in football terms, you know what I mean? That they still got players playing in Africa, and then they've got some playing in the Premier League. And it's who's turning up. It's who's going to be the showstopper. That kind of football I absolutely love. I don't think anyone's playing tonight, isn't it? The games are tomorrow or the weekend now. I can't remember. Friday night. Mali, Senegal, Cameroon, Morocco, which is on Friday at 7 p.m. our time. So whatever time that is now for you, Sean. My well clock knowledge is also not that good. Yes. So I spoke about the left wing position being a real issue for us right now because centre midfield goes without saying. If I could make it happen, Walton and Anderson turning up right now tomorrow, I go out. It's 250 million. Split it however you want between the two players. 5 hours behind. I thought you were. It will be what seven here. So you will be 2 o'clock for you guys. We need a CM and a left winger. The left winger right now. This is what I felt when I said about 4-4-2. We wouldn't be able to play one, and I thought that's why we were lopsided. So I think Ahmad needs to be forced to go over there. He's left-footed. Put Ahmad out on the left wing. If we're in the 4-4-2, this is Ahmad left wing, Dorgu right wing, Mbeumo, Cunha up front, Sesko to the bench. That's what I think. Or however you want, the manager would be happy to do it, but you're going to have to drop one of those. But yeah, left-sided players. Literally, in our last game we had to push Luke Shaw as the left wing back because it was the only thing that made sense. So yeah, left-sided player is quite important. Would the manager think about not loaning Amas back out, bringing him back as cover left side, put Shaw forward a bit? I don't know. That's a hard call. Yeah, this I was saying this Monday night. For me, Ahmad is the player who is now going to miss out in a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, whatever you want to look at. I don't see how Ahmad gets in. That's personal opinion. Cunha does seem like the only player to play left, and Mbeumo could play out there. What if we could now go and pull off 65 million for Semenyo and he rocked up? Perfect, right? But it is what it is. So, evening, Bilal. I did not see you in there, Morocco. No, Friday. I've got it on my phone. I just had a look. Friday night. Cameroon, Morocco, Friday night. So I know what I'll be having at least one eye on. But let's have a look. What's that so hot? Sorry, guys, I'm just having a look. Yeah, it's that. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, but Cunha, he is how I describe 10s to what I coach. The idea of a 10 for me is your luxury player who sits in a pocket between the striker and the midfield and doesn't have to. He does what he wants to do. He doesn't have structure so much to him compared to the other 10 players on the pitch. Well, 9 players, we'll take the keeper out of it. And I feel Cunha thrives in that. That's what he did at Wolves. If he wanted to drop deep and get the ball, he did. If he wanted to stay up top and make a 3-man front line, he did. And he's great at running with the ball, and we can't take that away from him. So yeah, it's one of those games tonight. Bruno can't beat a man, Sean. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to come out. Everyone thinks I hate Bruno. I think Bruno's a world-class footballer, and he's in. I just feel he's just being used in the wrong way. We don't have the players for how Bruno plays. We're not transitional, and we're not physically fit enough or fast enough to play. You put Bruno as a straight replacement for De Bruyne in the Man City team. Jesus Christ, his assists and goals would go through the roof. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. And so I do know we criticize Bruno for how he plays, but it's because it was a waste. We know he doesn't stop running. We know he's got the energy, so he needs to use it when a lot of our team has no mobility. We're so static. We barely ever even receive the ball on the run, you know, let alone the half turn. Everything's a pass to feet, stand still. The only one who really receives it on the run is Ahmad, up until bringing in Cunha and Mbeumo. So that's why I say that about Cunha. Cunha isn't with. Interesting. Well, I was trying to say this. I just think it's a really weird game tonight. Really weird. Yeah, and mine, Danny. Cunha's in mine. He's had a good start. But I tell you what, that makes a big change to the team as well. You know, I'm not going to bring the team back up, but if you've got Cunha starting up top with Sesko, and you've got Mount and Fernandes, maybe Mainu does come in and Mount goes further forward. Maybe even Bruno goes further forward. Here's one for you guys then. We're just close to finishing. I wouldn't mind seeing a midfield three of Mount, Mainu, and Camiro. And we play Bruno up in the front three. And if he wants to drop off, he can. Shut up. Who can you just clarify that so when I put it on screen it's yeah, Bilal. You just put that in one solid line of text so I can flip that up, please. That's thrown me a bit. Forget what I was talking about. Just having a look at my phone. I'm guessing you've all doing exactly what I'm doing and just trying to literally work this out. If that's a fact or not, I'm not calling you a former striker. Oh, fair. Oh, that's horrible. Horrible. Apart from him giving me one of my greatest memories of my youth with the Newcastle rant. Like, heart goes out, Kevin Keegan, absolute English football legend. Doesn't matter what shirts he's got, what he done enough for the English game. So, wish him all the best. You know, wishing the best sort of recovery. And you know, if anyone can get through it, I'm sure he can. And I hope that's the fact. So, yeah. And I'm sure everyone in the chat and anyone who sees this video will do the same. So please leave your wishes for Kevin Keegan in the comments afterwards. Because at the end of the day, the guy is an absolute English football legend. And that's really sad news. Lineup should be out. No, technically they should be out in 15 minutes. It's 1 hour before. They did change it to an hour and 15. I'm looking now. And hasn't popped up yet. Exactly, Sean. And do you know what? That's what people ask me. What is my channel about? What makes me different? That comment there makes me different. Journo's in a hurry, looking for a story where there isn't one. I am all about what I see with my own eyes. Cunha's not there. Well, how many people came off the bus? Count the amount of players. Then you would know how many were in the. How much attention were you paying? Maybe walked out next to someone. Do you know what I mean? The media just look for anything crap like that. Yeah. Bilal, totally. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Do you know what's worse? I was more worried about my graphic and having to change it if Cunha wasn't available. But yes, there's pictures of Maguire and Bruno coming off the thing. Team news, guys, live. I'm not going to mess around trying to get it up on screen. Lamens, Dalot, Hen, Martinez, Shaw, Ugarte, Casemiro, Cunha, Fernandes, Dorgu, Sesko. From that lineup, I think we're playing a 4-5-1 or words to that effect. 4-4-2-3-1. However you want to look at it. It could even be a 4-4-2 because bringing the Ugarte in is the one I'm looking at. On the bench, Bayindir, Maguire, Malacia, Yoro. Only one of his sons, Fletcher, Mainu, Mount, Lacey, Xerxes. I would like to know which Fletcher he's put on the bloody bench. They could at least put his initial there. I'm going to say, obviously, it most likely be Jack, because Jack's been playing, hasn't he? Was it Jack or was it Tyler? I can't remember now. Ugarte, Casemiro. Yeah, double pivot 2. Then I think a 3 of Dorgu, Mount, and Cunha with Sesko up front on his own. So yeah, Sean, I sort of agree. I think, did you not put that close to one of your formations on your preview the other day? Yesterday, I think it was, wasn't it? Maguire, Mainu on the bench. So yeah, if Ugarte ain't working, get Mainu on. Exactly that. Annoys me as well. So guys, that is the team news. Is it Jack on the bench? Because it just says Fletcher from what I'm seeing. Hey, we know which one could be the favourite now then. How to tell your twin sons which one's the favourite? Tyler, Jack? I love you both the same, but Jack, you're on the bench tonight. Tyler, you're not. And that's what you get when you have twins, of which I am a stepfather to 2 twin girls. Of course I don't have a favourite. It's whichever gets me chocolate and drinks. Right, so I am going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to leave it there. I wish us all the best tonight, like I say. Bilal, what's your score prediction? Have we got double 3-1s? I've gone for 3-0. Only if one has a shave. One actually started growing facial hair to be seen as different. Sean, I found that really funny. So yeah, imagine doing that. And it was rumoured that Ferguson wanted to do that with Fabio and Raphael. 1-1. 1-1. So you're in that area where I think nothing's going to be any different because we've got what we got, which is pretty much a good way to finish the show. That's what I was trying to say. I feel tonight is an important game. Go out there, support them, but make sure that we're supporting Manchester United, the club. We don't take sides. We see it how it is, and we just sing and get the win. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me on the United Lens. And until next time, I'll see you later.